If you're asking the question, why is my organic traffic dropping? This video will be for you. I'm going to take a look at the direction SEO is moving in. It's a summary of learnings from this webinar by GetStat and these two articles by Moz and GetStat. We're also going to think about the AI overview on Google and AI mode, which are two distinct things. So the current trends in search and AI search are part of a long-term shift away from gameable search queries to natural conversation. So Google's goal is, and arguably always has been, showing users the most relevant thing to their needs as quickly as possible. And Google now have far more sophisticated tools to understand what their users need in granular detail, and even to help their users refine their understanding beyond where it might be at the point of search. So demonstrating what your product or service does and all the situations where it's a good fit is the focus, helping Google understand the link between you and the needs of potential users. The desired outcome is more visibility in all relevant related searches across different result types versus just a focus on traditional organic search results. So in an ideal world, success now means less sweating the metrics and more trusting the process, engaging by tangible business outcomes like sales and inquiries, rather than through proxies like clicks and traffic. So the top level issue a lot of businesses are encountering is that organic search is dropping across the board. And if you feel this concern, you can rest assured it's not just you. The GetStat webinar proves pretty comprehensively that it's happening across all sorts of sectors. Traditional organic results counting for less than 50% of position 1 search results, with the rest being features, and they are hoovering up traffic. As a result, clicks are dropping as well, often because people get the information they need within the features rather than clicking through to a result to find it. And with clicks formerly being one of the most important KPIs for showing movement from search results pages to websites, this disruption in metrics is causing anxieties for companies who track their SEO, for agency clients, and so on. It's getting harder to demonstrate value and ROI with traditional metrics, making these metrics and their interpretations less reliable. So the top level goal becomes increasing visibility in those features of all types and being able to attribute that visibility to an increase in commercial outcomes like purchases, but also the psychological shift of feeling that this is where value is demonstrated rather than traditional metrics. And that's a real challenge, getting that buy-in that the metrics to look at are changing. We'll look at what's the same briefly, because there is an important through line that connects search 20 years ago with today, and that is satisfying user search intent. That has been the goal of search since the beginning. But 20 years ago, Google was trying to connect people to what they needed to meet their needs, and the same is true today. The only difference is the level of sophistication involved. So Google is pushing for optimization for longer tail keywords to capture increasingly granular search intent that users have, and also to train their AI models to get better at doing this in the future. So they're encouraging people to search in a way that will increase the sophistication of their search algorithms, and that is an ongoing process. The take home here is that longer tail queries need answering on your website to make sure Google associates you with the information it thinks its users are requesting. Going back briefly to the issue of clicks, there are now more paths to visibility without a click. For example, a mention in an AI overview, a link to another Google search in AI overview that has your brand name in it, building brand awareness, or a link to a site that mentions your brand favorably, again, building that brand awareness. So it's about perception of the entity for the user as much as it is for the AI engines. And this leads to shifts in KPIs and attribution. The things to focus on become the quality of information presented about your brand in generated features, the amount of brand mentions in AI overviews, their frequency and their accuracy, positive mentions and citations in related areas, and conversions on your website. So the question is, are you a coherent identity in a relevant ecosystem that Google understands well enough to display? And are people behaving as you want them to on their website? Less emphasis on how people move from the search engine to your website, more on how they behave when they get there. And these traditional KPIs are also limited in part by inaccuracies in GA4 tracking. So direct is less useful than it used to be because it's a catch-all for all non-referrer traffic. And there are also limitations in organic tracking because we can't reliably split out traditional results from traffic coming from features, AI overviews, AI modes, and so on. Google Search Console limits long-tail queries for privacy reasons, so we can't access those as reliably. It's hard to get as clear a picture as previously of where traffic is coming from. So to recap, the goal is visibility in features. And if we look at SERPs themselves, we'll see that AI overviews show an 88% overlap with organic results, and they use the same algorithm, whereas AI mode has only a 12% overlap and a different algorithm. The webinar opened by saying, hopefully AI mode isn't the future because it's fundamentally different from AI search. Drill down for another video. But to summarize, what's happening in search at the moment and the organic drop a lot of people are seeing is part of a long-term shift away from gameable search queries to natural conversation. Google wants to show users the most relevant thing to their needs as quickly as possible, and they now have far more sophisticated tools to do so with the advent of AI. And demonstrating what your product or service does and all the situations where it's a good fit is the focus. The desired outcome is more visibility in all related searches, AI or otherwise. And in an ideal world, you'll be looking less at metrics like clicks and traffic and more at tangible business outcomes.